Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Collections. Coin enthusiasts. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, the 1980 United States Roosevelt Dime. At first glance, it might seem like just another dime, but as with most coins, there's more than meets the eye. In this video, we're going to explore why this little coin from 1980 could be worth a lot more than its face value, what errors to look for, and how to spot one that could fetch thousands of dollars. Stick with us till the end, because we'll reveal how much it could be worth today. Let's dive in. The 1980 Roosevelt Dime is part of the series of dimes first introduced in 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The design on the obverse side of the coin features the profile of Roosevelt himself, designed by artist John R. Sinek. Roosevelt's image has been a hallmark of the dime for decades, and its simple, dignified design is one of the reasons why the Roosevelt dime is beloved by collectors. Surrounding Roosevelt's portrait are the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year, 1980. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, which represent liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. These symbols were designed by Sinek as well and reflect the ideals that Roosevelt stood for. The words, United States of America, and E pluribus unum, are also inscribed, along with the denomination, 1 dime. Now, you may be wondering, what makes the 1980 Roosevelt dime special? While most of these coins were minted in large numbers, there are certain factors that make some of them quite valuable. Let's talk about what makes this dime stand out. The first thing to know is that 1,980 dimes were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. If you're looking at your 1980 dime and you notice a small mint mark on the reverse side, just beneath the olive branch, you'll know where it was minted. A D mint mark indicates the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, while a coin with no mint mark was struck in Philadelphia. While both versions are common, the mint mark can have a subtle impact on a coin's value depending on its rarity. When it comes to errors, the 1980 Roosevelt dime is no stranger to some valuable ones. Error coins can dramatically increase the worth of a dime, especially when they are rare and in good condition. One of the most coveted error types for this coin is the double die variety. This happens when the die used to stamp the coin strikes it multiple times, causing certain parts of the design to appear doubled or offset. The double die error typically shows up in the inscriptions or the details of Roosevelt's face. For the 1980 dime, keep an eye on the words, Liberty, and, In God We Trust. If you notice that these letters appear thicker or doubled, you could be holding a valuable coin with the double die error. The more noticeable the doubling, the higher the coin's value could go. And it's important to note that the error should be clear to the naked eye, though you may want to use a magnifying glass or loupe for a closer look. Another potential error to look for is the die crack. A die crack occurs when there is a physical crack in the die used to mint the coin, and it's transferred onto the coin as raised lines. Die cracks are generally less noticeable than double die errors, but they can still make a coin highly collectible, especially if the crack runs through the image of Roosevelt or along the edge of the coin. The more dramatic the die crack, the more value it could add to the coin. So, why is the 1980 Roosevelt dime so valuable in the first place? In general, the value of any coin is based on a few key factors: rarity, condition, and demand. While the 1980 Roosevelt dime itself is relatively common, the demand for certain varieties, especially those with noticeable errors, has made this coin highly sought after by collectors. Over time, fewer of these coins remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. If you happen to find a 1980 dime in near-perfect condition, it will naturally have a higher value. In addition, error coins are incredibly valuable. Collectors often look for rare variations, and a 1980 Roosevelt dime with a double die or die crack is much more desirable than a regular dime. The fact that these errors weren't intentional makes them even more special, which is why collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. As time passes, the number of these coins available in excellent condition only decreases, so they continue to grow in value. Now, let's talk about how you can spot a valuable 1980 Roosevelt dime. First, check the mint mark. If there's a D on the reverse side, your coin was minted in Denver. If it has no mint mark, it was struck in Philadelphia. While the mint mark alone doesn't necessarily increase the coin's value, it's a useful piece of information for collectors. Next, take a close look at the design for any signs of doubling. The best places to check are the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse side of the coin. If you notice that the letters appear thick or double-stamped, you could have a double die error on your hands. A magnifying glass or loupe will help you spot any subtle doubling. Then, examine the reverse side for any die cracks. These can appear as raised lines or breaks in the design, especially around the edges or through the torch. While these die cracks can be hard to spot, they add a unique characteristic to the coin, making it more valuable to collectors. Finally, the condition of the coin is key. If your 1980 dime is uncirculated, with minimal wear or scratches, it will hold much more value than a heavily worn one. Coins in excellent condition are always more desirable and command higher prices in the market. So, how much could your 1980 Roosevelt dime be worth? Well, if you have a regular 1980 dime in good condition, it's still worth just 10 cents. But if you find one with a double die error, a die crack, or it's in pristine condition, you could be looking at anywhere from $2,700 to $30,000. Yes, you heard that right, $2,700 to $30,000. That's the potential value of a single 1980 Roosevelt dime if it has the right features and is in the right condition. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin with an error, or do you have a favorite coin in your collection that you're especially proud of? Drop a comment below and share your coin hunting stories with us. Today, we've got a fascinating coin to dive into, the 1991 Roosevelt dime. It might seem like just another dime at first glance, but trust me, there's so much more to this coin than you might expect. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual viewer, by the end of this video, you'll have a newfound appreciation for the 1991 Roosevelt dime and its potential value. Stick with me, and let's uncover why this little dime could be worth a lot more than its face value. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away the previous year. The design of the coin, created by artist John R. Sinek, features the profile of Roosevelt on the obverse, front, side. On this side, you'll find Roosevelt's well-known portrait, along with the word "Liberty," the motto, "In God We Trust," and the year, 1991. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. These three symbols represent liberty, peace, and strength, all of which were important to President Roosevelt. You'll also find the inscriptions, United States of America, e pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one, and the denomination, one dime. So, why is this coin from 1991 so special, and what makes it stand out among other Roosevelt dimes? There are a few key factors that can elevate the value of the 1991 dime, especially if it has some unique characteristics or errors. While most of these coins were minted in large quantities, certain varieties and errors make them highly collectible. First off, it's important to note that the 1991 Roosevelt dime was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. If you look at the reverse side of your dime, you'll see a small mint mark just beneath the olive branch. If you spot a D, it means the coin was minted in Denver. If there's no mint mark, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. While most collectors don't focus too heavily on the mint mark alone, it's still valuable information to have when assessing the coin's rarity. Now, let's talk about errors and what you should be on the lookout for. One of the most desirable types of errors you can find on a 1991 Roosevelt dime is a double die error. This happens when the die that strikes the coin doesn't align properly, causing certain areas of the design to appear doubled. The most common areas where doubling occurs are in the inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If you're examining your 1991 dime closely and notice that these letters seem to be double-stamped or appear thicker than usual, you could have a valuable double die error on your hands. Another error to watch out for is the die crack. A die crack happens when the die used to stamp the coins gets damaged, causing a crack to form in the die. When the coin is struck, the crack will appear as raised lines on the coin. These die cracks often show up on the edge of the coin or can even cross through Roosevelt's portrait. While not as dramatic as a double die error, a die crack can still make a coin more valuable, especially if it's a noticeable one. The reason these errors are so valuable is that they are rare. Only a small number of coins are affected by these minting issues, which makes them highly collectible. The rarer the error, the more sought after the coin becomes, and collectors are always on the lookout for those special, one-of-a-kind pieces. So, if you find a 1991 Roosevelt dime with a double die or die crack, you could be sitting on a rare treasure, but it's not just about errors. The condition of the coin is equally important when determining its value. Like with any collectible, coins that are in mint or near mint condition are worth much more than those that have been worn down through years of circulation. The more pristine the coin, the higher its value. Coins with no visible scratches, dings, or discoloration are in higher demand among collectors and can command a premium price. Now, how can you spot a valuable 1991 Roosevelt dime? The first step is to carefully examine the design. Use a magnifying glass or loupe to closely inspect the coin. Start by checking the inscriptions, especially the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If you notice any doubling or thickening of the letters, you might have a double die error. Then, look at Roosevelt's portrait. If you spot any raised lines or cracks, you may have a coin with a die crack. Don't forget to check the condition of the coin as well. A coin in mint condition will have no visible wear or discoloration. If you've got a coin that's seen heavy circulation, it won't be worth as much, but if it's in pristine or uncirculated condition, you're looking at a much more valuable piece. So, why is the 1991 Roosevelt dime so valuable to collectors? The simple answer is rarity and demand. While most of these dimes were produced in large quantities, finding one with a minting error or in uncirculated condition is becoming increasingly rare. Over time, the number of well-preserved 1,991 dimes decreases, which increases their value. Plus, collectors love error coins, and with the demand for high-quality, unique pieces, the price of these coins continues to rise. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much could your 1991 Roosevelt dime be worth? If you have an ordinary 1991 dime in good condition, it's worth its face value, 10 cents. But if you find a rare double die error, die crack, or an uncirculated coin, the value can increase significantly. A 1991 Roosevelt dime with a minting error or in pristine condition could be worth anywhere from $2,700 to $30,000. That's right, $2,700 to $30,000. The price can vary depending on the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and market demand. Before we end this video, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever found a coin with a rare error, or do you have a favorite coin in your collection that's especially valuable? Drop a comment below and let us know your coin stories. Today, we're diving into something that may look like a simple dime but could be worth much more than you'd expect. We're talking about the United States Roosevelt dime from 1994. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about this particular coin? Well, sit tight, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this dime a must-have for collectors and how it could be worth thousands of dollars. The Roosevelt dime, first issued in 1946, was created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away in 1945. Designed by artist John R. Sinek, the coin's obverse, front, features a portrait of Roosevelt, with the word "Liberty," the year of minting, and the motto, "In God We Trust," surrounding it. On the reverse side, you'll see a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, reflecting Roosevelt's legacy. But today, we're focusing on the 1994 mint mark of this coin, which is particularly interesting for a few reasons. Most of these coins were minted in the billions, so at first glance, they might not seem extraordinary. However, there's more to this dime than meets the eye, and that's exactly why it's caught the attention of coin collectors worldwide. Let's break it down. Point 1. Of the main things collectors are looking for in any coin is its condition. The 1994 Roosevelt Dime was produced in large numbers, but over time, coins that have been heavily circulated lose their value. Coins in poor condition, with scratches, wear, or discoloration, are worth little more than their face value. However, if you happen to find a 1994 dime in uncirculated or pristine condition, it could be worth a significant amount more. These coins are highly coveted, especially if they haven't been damaged or altered by years of circulation. Now, let's talk about errors and what to look for. This is where things get really interesting for collectors. One of the most desirable types of errors you can find on a 1994 Roosevelt dime is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts or misaligns, causing the design to appear doubled. The doubled design can often be seen on the word Liberty or in the motto, "In God We Trust," with the letters appearing slightly shifted or thicker than usual. If you have a keen eye, you'll want to carefully examine these areas with a magnifying glass to spot any signs of this error. Another error that can add value to your coin is the die crack. This occurs when the die, the metal stamp used to imprint the design onto the coin, becomes damaged. As a result, the die cracks, and when coins are struck with it, the crack shows up as raised lines on the coin. A die crack can appear in various parts of the coin, but it's most commonly found running along the rim or through the design itself. A noticeable die crack can make the coin much more collectible and increase its value, so make sure to inspect the coin carefully for any such markings. Aside from errors, another thing that makes the 1994 Roosevelt dime valuable is its mint mark. If you take a look at the reverse side of the coin, you'll notice a small letter located near the bottom right, either a D or a P. The D stands for the Denver Mint, and the P represents the Philadelphia Mint. While these mint marks don't always impact the coin's value significantly, knowing where the coin was minted is important for collectors who are focused on completing specific mint mark collections. In some cases, coins from certain mints or with particular mint marks can be rarer, which can drive up their worth. So why exactly is the 1994 Roosevelt dime so valuable to collectors? The answer is simple: rarity, condition, and errors. While these dimes were minted in large quantities, finding one in excellent condition, especially one with an error or mint mark variance, makes it a highly desirable piece. The coin itself represents an important part of American history, and collectors seek to own a piece that's as close to perfect as possible. Plus, with each passing year, the number of uncirculated dimes from 1994 decreases, making them harder to come by and more valuable. The value of the coin can vary significantly depending on the condition, mint mark, and whether it has any errors. A 1994 Roosevelt dime in circulated condition is worth little more than its face value of 10 cents, but if you're lucky enough to find a coin in mint or near mint condition, or one with a rare error, it could fetch a much higher price. And if your coin happens to have a double die error or a die crack, it could be worth a small fortune. So, how much is this dime worth? If you've got a pristine 1994 Roosevelt dime or one with a rare error, you could be looking at a price range from $2,800 to $37,000. That's right, anywhere from $2,800 to $37,000. The value depends on the error, condition, and overall demand, but it's clear that this little dime could become a serious treasure. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever found a coin with a rare error or one that turned out to be more valuable than you thought? Drop a comment below and share your coin hunting stories with us. Today, we're going to dive deep into a coin that's often overlooked, but could be hiding a small fortune in your pocket, the United States Roosevelt Dime from 1987. It might look like just another dime at first glance, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. Stick with me as we explore why this coin could be worth much more than its face value. Now, when you hear Roosevelt Dime, the first thing that probably comes to mind is the iconic portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. First introduced in 1946, the Roosevelt Dime is a tribute to the 32nd President of the United States, who played a crucial role in leading the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find a profile of Roosevelt, along with the word Liberty, the year of minting, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." It's simple, elegant, and packed with history, but today, we're focusing on the 1987 mint mark. While many people may overlook these dimes as just another part of their pocket change, it's important to know that some specific years can be quite valuable to collectors, and the 1987 dime is one of them. Let's break it down to see why this particular year stands out. The first thing that makes the 1987 Roosevelt dime so interesting is its rarity and condition. Dimes from this period were widely circulated, so finding one in mint or near mint condition is quite rare. Most of these coins have been in circulation for decades, passing through countless hands and suffering from wear and tear. This means that dimes in pristine condition, especially those that haven't been damaged or heavily circulated, are highly sought after. So, if you happen to have a 1987 Roosevelt dime that looks as good as the day it was minted, you're already on the right track. Now, let's talk about some errors that make the 1987 Roosevelt dime especially intriguing. Collectors know that one of the things that can increase a coin's value is a minting error. These imperfections can range from small, barely noticeable issues to larger, more dramatic mistakes that make the coin stand out. In the case of the 1987 dime, there are a couple of common errors you'll want to keep an eye out for. One of the most valuable errors you can find is a double die error. This happens when the coin's die, used to stamp the design onto the coin, doesn't align properly during the minting process. As a result, parts of the design appear twice, often giving the coin a doubled look. You'll most likely see this on the word Liberty or the motto, "In God We Trust." If you notice that the text looks thicker or slightly misaligned, it could be a double die error. And if you have one of these, you may have a rare treasure on your hands. Another possible error to look for is a die crack. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin becomes damaged, resulting in raised lines or cracks on the surface of the coin. These cracks can sometimes run through the design, creating a unique and distinct appearance. While not all die cracks add significant value, if you happen to spot one on your 1987 Roosevelt dime, it could make the coin more desirable to collectors who specialize in error coins. So, why is this coin so valuable in the first place? The value of the 1987 Roosevelt dime is driven by a combination of factors: rarity, condition, and the possibility of errors. As I mentioned earlier, most of these coins were circulated heavily, meaning finding one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition is rare. Coins that have been well preserved over the years are considered much more valuable because they've survived without showing signs of wear or damage. Additionally, the demand for specific mint marks can influence a coin's value. The 1987 dime comes with mint marks from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. While these dimes are relatively common, a few variations or limited-run coins with certain mint marks may fetch a higher price. The key is identifying the mint mark on your coin. You'll find the mint mark just below the olive branch and oak branch design on the reverse side of the coin. If your coin has a D mint mark, it was struck in Denver. If it has no mint mark, it was struck in Philadelphia. But what about the value? You're probably wondering just how much these dimes can be worth. Well, the price range for a 1987 Roosevelt dime can vary significantly based on its condition and any errors it might have. A regular 1987 dime in circulated condition is typically worth just 10 cents, but if you have one in mint condition, or better yet, one with a minting error like a double die or die crack, you could be looking at a much higher value. So, how much can this dime really be worth? If you're lucky enough to have a 1987 Roosevelt dime in uncirculated condition, or one with a rare minting error, it could be worth anywhere from $2,900 to $39,000. That's right, from $2,900 to $39,000, depending on the condition and errors. Before I wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever stumbled upon a coin that was worth far more than you expected? Maybe you found a dime with a minting error or a coin from a rare year? Drop a comment below and tell me your story. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss another exciting discovery. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting. Today's video might just have the answer you've been looking for. Today, we're talking about a coin that might not be on everyone's radar but could be worth far more than its face value, the 1974 Roosevelt Dime. Don't be fooled by its modest size, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Stick around to find out exactly why this little dime is so valuable and what makes it stand out among other coins from the same era. Let's start with the basics. The Roosevelt Dime was first issued in 1946 to honor the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt. His portrait graces the obverse, front, of the coin, and it's instantly recognizable, symbolizing not just the man himself, but his dedication to public service, his leadership during World War II, and his efforts in establishing Social Security. The reverse side of the coin showcases a simple, yet meaningful design: a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. The torch represents liberty, while the olive and oak branches stand for peace and strength, respectively. Together, these symbols reflect the ideals that Roosevelt stood for, making the coin a tribute to both his legacy and the values of the nation. Now, what makes the 1974 Roosevelt Dime so special? For most people, the 1974 dime might just look like another regular coin. After all, millions of these dimes were minted, and it doesn't seem particularly rare at first glance. However, like with many coins, rarity and value depend on specific factors: condition, mint errors, and the overall demand for the coin. So, let's talk about some of the key features of the 1974 Roosevelt Dime that make it stand out to collectors. First, we have to look at the mint marks. The 1974 dimes were minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If you're wondering where to find the mint mark, it's located on the reverse side of the coin, right below the olive branch and oak branch design. If there's no mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. If there's a D, it was struck in Denver. If there's an S, it was minted in San Francisco. The next thing that can drastically affect the value of a 1974 Roosevelt dime is its condition. Coins that were circulated heavily tend to show signs of wear and tear, such as scratches, discoloration, and flattened features. However, dimes that were carefully stored and remain in uncirculated or near-perfect condition are worth far more. A coin that has remained pristine over the years is much rarer and far more valuable to collectors. So, the first thing to do when checking your 1974 dimes is to look for any signs of wear. If your coin is clean and shiny, you might be holding on to something special, but there's more to it than just condition. Some 1974 dimes have minting errors, which can make them even more valuable. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production, either due to the die or machinery malfunctioning, or even human error. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1974 Roosevelt dime is the double die error. This happens when the coin's die doesn't align properly during the minting process, causing parts of the design to be stamped multiple times. The most common areas to check for this double die are the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If you notice that the text looks doubled or misaligned, you may have stumbled upon a valuable error coin. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is struck at an angle or misaligned on the press. It can cause the design to appear shifted, or even part of the coin to be missing. These coins are often very noticeable and stand out among regular, well-struck dimes. While off-center coins aren't as rare as double die errors, they still carry significant value due to their unique appearance. Now, let's talk about why this dime, in particular, is so valuable. As I mentioned earlier, the value of the 1974 Roosevelt dime is heavily influenced by its condition and any errors it may contain. While a standard, circulated 1974 dime is only worth its face value of 10 cents, uncirculated dimes, or those with minting errors can be worth thousands of dollars. That's right, if you have one of these in pristine condition, it could be worth a lot more than you think. So, just how much could your 1974 Roosevelt dime be worth? If you happen to have one in excellent, uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a rare error like a double die or off-center strike, your coin could be worth anywhere from $2,900 to $40,000. Yes, you heard that right, anywhere from $2,900 to $40,000, depending on its rarity and condition. These coins may seem small, but their value can be enormous if you know what to look for. Now, before we wrap up, I want to know, have you ever come across a coin that surprised you with its value? Maybe you found a rare minting error or a coin that's worth far more than you imagined? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins like the 1974 Roosevelt dime, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting.